So I quit my job. It's been, what has it been? Okay, today's Tuesday. I quit on Friday. So it's however many days that is. That's how many days it's been. Well, my last day was on Friday. And it hasn't really sunk in yet. Even though like I haven't gone to work today or yesterday, it still hasn't quite sunk in that like I don't have to go to work like for a while. And it's been a long time coming. I started working at Amazon like 4 years ago, a little bit over 4 years ago. And even by like 7, 8, 9 months in, I was already thinking about what else I could do. I made like a Google Doc of like the things that I liked about my job, the things I didn't like about my job. And there was a lot more dislikes. And ultimately, even then, I had the feeling that like, this just ain't it. It's cool. Like, this is it for a lot of people, but for me, it wasn't it. But even though I had those feelings then, and I thought like, okay, I mean, like maybe I'll stay for a year and like that'll look okay on my resume and then I can just get another job, another big tech job. I didn't do it. And I think like I didn't do it because at some level I knew like deep down that I didn't want another tech job or even like ideally even another job. So I started thinking about like what else I could do. And my idea was like, okay, I could make and sell programming courses, like teach people to code online because that's the way I learned, and it was really helpful for me. And I can help people do that too. And I still might do that at some point, but I couldn't quite like make myself put in the work to get that off the ground. Like I would like get on the computer after work and I would just like sit down and be like, okay, I need to be like working on my shit, whatever that is. I need to like, if it's courses, then I need to be like planning the course, um, recording the course, making the course, marketing the course, whatever it is. I need to be working on it. But I couldn't like make myself do that. Like I didn't have the like internal motivation to like sit down and work on it. So I would just end up like just coming home and playing games, eating food, spending time with my partner, with our dog, just chilling, watching shows. And like that is okay, that's cool. But it resulted in this huge amount of like friction and tension in my life because like on one hand I like really hated my everyday experience at my job. Like it was like actively like antagonistic to me. But on the other hand, I couldn't seem to sit down and do the work that I thought was necessary to get me away from that, to get me out of it. And so I just felt like I'm gonna be fucking stuck like this. And that's like a really demotivating, depressing feeling when you feel like you really don't like your circumstances, but you don't have, like, you can't seem to make yourself work to change them. I hated that feeling. And luckily, I found some content around this time that really helped me, some YouTube content. The guy's name was Henry Juntilla or Juntilla. I'm not sure how you say it. But the core message of his content that was really helpful to me was that it's okay to rest. It's okay to let yourself have these periods of time where you're not making progress on something. And it's okay to not know what to do. Like what he was saying was like there's natural rhythms, there's like natural cycles of like motivation, work, and rest. And like if you think of it like a wave, like there's crests and troughs, or like there's peaks and valleys. And so like when you're feeling motivated, when you're working towards something, you're on the ascent, like you're heading toward the peak, right? You're able to make progress on something, you feel like working on it. And then that leads to this natural point where you like start chilling, like you start relaxing a bit, you start like feeling less motivated to keep working at that like grinding pace. Like you naturally like wouldn't just push and push and push and grind forever, although people do that. And I think that is one of the things that leads to burnout. But like naturally, you would, if you're not like forcing yourself, you would get to this point where it's like natural to come down into this valley, a valley where your mind and your body is resting, and it's a time to like reset. It's a time to relax and figure out like how you're feeling, what you want to do next, and just to rest, just to enjoy life, just to slow down a bit. And the tension comes from like being in a valley, like a natural period of rest, but like trying to keep pushing, trying to like, start pushing up the motivation hill of whatever the next thing is. And that was really helpful to me because it let me it allowed me to give myself permission to rest, like to not do anything, to just like accept this time for what it was and just be that. And and accepting that time, it was hard, because I really didn't want to be at my job, but it allowed me to come into this place where I was like okay at my job. Like I'm kind of just like coasting. Like I still like would rather leave, but I'm not like fucking like actively butting against that every day, actively like suffering. That coincided with the pandemic, um, like the quarantine, where I was lucky enough to be able to work from home and be able to just be at home. And so I tried a lot of different hobbies during that time. Like it kind of opened up into just like trying stuff and just like, seeing what felt cool or what felt interesting. And like I was just talking about this with my girlfriend the other day about all the like shit that I tried during quarantine, but like I ordered a new electric guitar. I bought some like fancy rollerblades from this like European website. I I bought Rock Band, like with the whole setup with the drums, like the game Rock Band. I was like playing that for a little while. We got a dog. I got really into like photography, cinematography. Got a bunch of cool like camera shit. And I mean, one other thing I'm grateful for to Amazon for is like having the money to like pursue these interests and like buy all this shit essentially. Like that is cool. And I mean, I am grateful for that. I do appreciate that. Like it all led to this point where last summer I went back to Colorado to help my mom move into a new place, and my brother and my sisters came too, and we were all there together. And I told them that I decided I wasn't going to work any more summers after this. And the reason that I came to that decision was because I was I was rereading this book that I really enjoyed when I was a kid called The Great Brain. And if you never heard of that or never read it, it's basically about these two little kids in like some Midwestern state at like the end of the 1800s or like the early 1900s. And the main kid, his older brother Tom, he's the great brain. He's like always coming up with like these schemes to get money and like these scams, like ways to scam other people, other kids out of their like allowance, like their quarters or whatever. But I really enjoyed that book when I was a kid, and so I was rereading it. And there's this part in the book where the school year is ending, and like this new chapter starts, and Tom and JD are like sitting on their back porch, just kind of like lazily like hanging around at the start of summer, and they're like feeling this like the like limitless possibilities of summer like unfolding in front of them. At least like that's the image that it made me remember. It made me remember when I was a kid, like getting like at the start of summer, like I just felt that like you're at the beginning of summer and like you feel like you have so much time. Like you have time to rest, you have time to relax, you have time to play games, you have time to play with your friends, you have time to like do crazy shit like build a fort or like explore the river or like whatever you want to do. Like you have time for that, and you have like this like just this unfolding of like almost endless possibilities like out in front of you. Like that's what summer felt like to me as a kid. And feeling that again, like rereading this, like it made me miss that. I just realized that like I haven't had that feeling in so long and I wanted it back. And so I decided I wasn't going to work any more summers. This was going to be the last summer that I worked, ideally. And so I told that I told my siblings that, and when I got home, I bought this countdown clock off of Amazon, which is just like it's just this clock, like a timer essentially that you put in a date in the future and it like counts down to it. And I set it on my bedside, and I picked June 21st, 2023 as the date to count down towards, which was about a little over a year in the future at that point. And I called it my resignation day, the day that I would hand in my 2 weeks and be free. And I picked that day, June 21st, because it's the official start of summer, right? I didn't quite make June 21st. I handed in my 2 weeks notice June 26th, but like it's pretty close. Like it's pretty good. I'm happy about that. And ideally, like at that point, my plan was, okay, maybe I'll save up some cash this year, and then next summer I'll tell them like, okay, I'm taking a leave of absence, and I'm just gonna take the summer off, and just I'll be able to have that feeling again, that feeling of like having the summer for rest or working on my own shit, like just all those possibilities. Or in addition, I will like use this year to work on like building up a replacement income, and then maybe if I have that by next summer, then I can just quit for good. But what I ended up doing was a secret third option, where I just saved up as much money as I could over the year. And then when summer came, I just decided, fucking done. And I'm gonna use that time. I'm just gonna quit, and I'm gonna work on my own shit for that time until I run out of cash. And then if I don't have a replacement income by the time I run out of cash, or like by the time I have like 3 months left maybe of cash, then hopefully I can just get another job. Or maybe AI will have taken over by then and we won't need jobs. So like my ideal plan was like, ideally I would have had a replacement income by now, but I didn't. And that's okay, because I needed that time to figure out what I wanted to do next and what I wanted to work on. And one of the things that I want to work on is being a voice on YouTube, on social media, to document my journey and to help other people who maybe have similar problems to solve those. Like I want to use this time to work on solving my own problems and helping other people who need help with that to solve them too. And if I can make a living doing that, like that's the dream. I'm well aware that it's super risky, or it's at least I'm well aware of the risk involved. I talked with my girlfriend about it. I talked with my mom about it. I did my due diligence of ruminating about this and deciding, like, and being afraid. I was really afraid to do this. One of the things I'm afraid of is like I won't have health insurance. Like after this month, after my coverage expires for my job, I won't have health insurance, and I could pay for it out of my own pocket. If I don't, I'm gonna get fined at the end of the year. So, I mean, the jury's still out on that one. I may get health insurance. I may pay for that and just have less time. I mean, that's not even the only risk. Like, there could be like a medical emergency or car emergency. Something happens. Something needs to get fixed. Our dog could get sick, could get hurt. There's, anything can happen. And like, so I know it's risky, but I think it'll be okay. Maybe that's naive, but I really do think that we'll be able to figure it out. Even if something happens, we'll work it out. And also, I think that anything can happen even while you have a job. And even if I don't get my project off the ground, even if I don't have any replacement income by the time I run out of savings and I have to get a new job or live under a bridge, I think like all the progress that I made will still be there. Like I'll be that much closer. I'll be like that amount of time and work closer to making that real. And also, I think even if I don't have anything to show for it, I'll be much happier having spent that time working on these projects that matter to me than having spent another year or whatever working at Amazon, helping burn down the rainforests or whatever we do. So yeah, here we are. We're doing it. Me and you. in this together. And one of the things that I want to do is be here and make stuff like this and learn how to do it better and help myself and help other people and rest and feel what it feels like to be free of the capitalism machine for a little bit and to feel like those unlimited possibilities ahead of me and just feel like that time is mine and I can do whatever I want with it. And I'm gonna try and cultivate that feeling and hold on to that feeling. It hasn't quite sunk in yet that like I'm free, but it's getting there. All right. Thank you guys for listening, watching. I'll see you soon.